Welcome to Community Voices with your host, Terence Lauchie. This radio roundtable features community, business, and religious leaders that discuss current events and topics that impact our urban community. If you would like to be a guest or if you have a suggested topic, contact the station today at 616-259-7342. Now, into the program.
Greetings and welcome back to another edition of Community Voices. I'm Terence Lauchie, and you're tuned in to 91.9 FM, The People's Choice. Community Voices has been around for a little while talking about what's happening in the community, maybe informing you or enlisting your involvement in things that are happening. And today's no different. I have in the studio somebody's going to be talking about what's going on with the NIA Center. The NIA Center is offering us some great opportunity to have dialogue, conversation, but to celebrate our heritage. And I'm excited for Mr. Andre to be here with us today. Talk to us a little bit about what's happening. Welcome.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate you. And the NIA Center has a lot of great things coming up. The next event that we have coming up is our My Story 5 event.
Yes.
And that'll be featuring an emerging artist, Esan Summersell, and looking at some of his work as he looks into the impact of social media on the mental health of our community.
That's pretty deep and broad. For those who might just be tuning in or maybe listening as you're riding along in your car, I'm talking to Andre Dandridge, and he serves as the executive director at the NIA Center here in Grand Rapids. And it's a new position for you.
Yes, relatively new.
A new placement, just before COVID. Tell us a little bit about your journey and use this next 45, 50 minutes to just really push NIA, the NIA Center, the efforts, the dream, the vision. I know the NIA Center board members personally, and shout out to Robert, the crew, and all of the people there. But talk to us a little bit about what landed you here. You're from the east side of the state originally.
Yes, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. Went to a school here, Big Ten school, and fell in love, right? And eventually I got married, and when I lived in Baltimore, my career took me to Miami. I'm a scientist by training, a medical technologist.
But you got JD after your name.
Interesting, very interesting path I took.
So you got the Juris Doctorate, but you're a scientist. Tell me about that.
Right. So I worked in the lab. I worked at Quest Diagnostics, a couple of hospitals, where I did the test that, when your doctor says, let me get some blood drawn. Sure. Well, I was the guy who they brought the tube to and did the test.
For the testing.
Right. Chemistry, hematology, serology. So I did that. And then I reached a plateau in my career where everybody was maybe 5-10 years more seniority than me. So I had to make a decision. What do I want to do with the rest of my life, right? My wife had just recently graduated from law school, and within a year and a half, she had 3 different positions in 3 different industries. And I said, let me think. Being a lawyer is not a bad thing. So I took a practice test, did pretty good on it, took another one, did better. I'm like, okay, well, I can get in. So I decided to take the LSAT, got into law school. And
did you go to Cooley? What school did you go to?
I went to Michigan State University College of Law.
Smart. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I left Paradise to come back to Michigan, and go to Michigan State. And I had a really good experience. I was a part-time student, worked a full-time job. I had a family, so it was very different than my undergrad experience.
Sure.
But being a scientist, I wanted to not lose all of that education, so I got into intellectual property, specifically trademark and patents. Sure. And I was fortunate that my wife had a law firm when I graduated, so I started working with her. And that's how I started working.
So is she your boss?
Oh, she's still the boss. She's still the boss of me, right? And actually, today's the day that she was born, so happy birthday, sweetie.
Oh, look at you getting brownie points.
That's right.
You are a true lawyer.
I'm on the radio.
Now, if ever I need defense, I'm calling you.
So that's how I got into the law. But I did patent and trademarks, but we are a business law firm. So I worked with small business owners.
Correct.
And then from there, I did some teaching. I taught corporations, business ethics, business entities at the university level. I taught at the law school that I graduated from for a few years. And then I started working in community economic development in the nonprofit space.
So you get bored and you just decide to switch and learn a whole new
career.
if
the opportunity was there, but it kind of flowed with the businesses. I was in business formation, small business, for-profit formation, nonprofit formation. So that was a part of what I was doing anyway. And the position became available. But this was in a CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution, where I learned about businesses and access to capital.
Yeah.
And I really got into that. And I used what I would teach, what I taught in undergraduate and law school institutions to teach small business owners right in the projects in Miami. Right?
Okay.
So I gave them the same information I gave to students. I gave it to our people in the projects in Miami and fell in love with that. I've always wanted to use my skills and talents to help my community.
Sure.
And then my wife, who I had to mention her, who I love dearly, she got a job in Grand Rapids here, right?
Hey, wait, let me see if you got a script. There's a teleprompter in this room. No, go ahead.
So I was, she said, hey, a headhunter reached out to me and said, there's an opportunity in Grand Rapids. We lived in Miami.
Yeah.
I was loving what I was doing, writing the projects in Liberty City. Yeah. I had a great community there, and I had palm trees in the ocean. Moving to Grand Rapids, I'm not moving to Grand Rapids.
In the wintertime.
Right. But, I really considered it for what she wanted to do in her career, and we decided to move here.
Sure. So our children opened her own firm here?
Well, no, she works for organization here, and so she's no longer practicing law. So she's her career moved
shifted
on, right?
As well. So you guys are trading off on degrees and using of those degrees. So if you tell me she went into science, then
no. Okay. She's still along the line of business. Yeah,
great.
She works in that area.
So you say you got family, you got some kids,
got a couple of children, got 2 daughters. They are adults, 24 and 28 years old.
Okay. And, you can shout out their names.
Indira and Brianna, they're awesome. I just spent the weekend with them, so they're wonderful children. They make their daddy proud. They make good decisions, and they're taking care of themselves.
Well, they're in their 20s, so you only have so many more years left before eventually you're going to have to walk them down the aisle and give them away.
My oldest daughter is married. I have 2 grandchildren.
Really? Congratulations.
Yeah.
Now, that was life-changing too, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now you want to change your career and become an educator.
Right. Well, in a way, because I
Exactly.
I taught at university level. I technically am an educator.
Sure.
But, so how did I get to NIA Center? I'm trying to get to this point.
Sure.
So I got here a week before the pandemic, and I had all of these ideas in Miami what I'm going to do when I get to Grand Rapids. I'm like, I know our people are there. I know I can hit the ground running and see what's going on and continue to do the kind of work that I'm doing here in Miami.
Right.
But the next week that I got here, the whole world changed.
Yeah.
I didn't have any furniture. We didn't have any food in the house.
Everything
My wife was
down.
gone working. But I was working remotely, still with the nonprofit in Miami, so I could still make money. Yay, that's good for a marriage. You
still know your role.
That's right. So I was in the house for 2 years, and then last fall I wanted to stick my head out. Okay, what's going on in Grand Rapids? And I saw this position for an executive director of a nonprofit African American Cultural Center. What? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so
sounds good. Right?
It's good. I said, let me put my resume in. Put it in. I got a call from Robert Upton. Hey, we want you to come in for an initial interview. Now, this is when I fell in love with NIA Center. When I walked through the door, you've been there before.
Absolutely.
Black art everywhere. I walk in to the center to go into the conference room, and I sit down at a table with 6 other highly intelligent, highly capable, and amazing. I call them superheroes.
Yeah,
right.
They're outstanding people.
So I'm sitting down here, and they're interviewing me, and I'm like, "Is this the real world? Am I being punked or something? Like what is?"
It was hard to believe, right?
Right, and the mission of NIA Center is to be a nationally known nonprofit organization, cultural center that celebrates Black excellence. Awesome, right? Number 2, the vision is to we want to live in a world where there's equitable business, cultural, financial, and health opportunities that lead to achieving great success.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all want to pay me? Right?
Did you say that's your personal mantra too?
Right?
Right?
So I was offered a second interview. They made me do some homework. They made me do a presentation. It wasn't it was one of the most involved interviews process that I've ever been through.
Mm-hmm.
And then, a couple weeks later, they called and gave me an offer, and we negotiated and brought me in. So that's how I got to NIA Center. And it's been an honor and a pleasure to use my skills and talents to serve the community, and I'm doing the best that I got. I don't take this lightly that I just kind of stumbled on this,
Mm-hmm.
and I talked with my mom about it, and she said, well, Andre, this is perfect for you. This is what you were made to do, and so that stays in the back of my head,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm doing my best, to give everybody, to use what I know to improve what the board wants me to do,
Mm-hmm.
and to make it a reality here in Grand Rapids.
Sure, and make your contribution in the world. I mean,
Certainly.
just being a black man in America, I was sharing that with someone else. In fact, you know Orville Barbie, and he's doing a book signing.
Yes, November the 16th. We're having a book signing from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at NIA Center.
Yeah, and he wrote a book entitled The Big House, and
Mm-hmm.
he's talking about his experience as a black man in HR and having spent time in the C-suites. These conversations and these dialogues that we're having both on Community Voices as well as out in the community and in places like the NIA Center gives us an opportunity to showcase accomplishments and achievements. It holds true to our heritage, to really promote excellence among blacks, not just in Grand Rapids, but throughout the world. I mean, we have a long, long history of overcoming challenges. Tell us a little bit about the My Story 5, because I know that's what's coming up next at NIA is My Story 5, and then, of course, the book signing with Orville.
So My Story, this is the 5th version of our My Story events, and the other 4 have been immensely successful. This one focuses on an emerging artist. We have 3 focus areas: arts and culture, entrepreneurship and wealth building, and health awareness. So this falls under our arts and culture focus area, and we want to promote and show the world this awesome talent, that this homegrown talent here in Grand Rapids. And ESAN is definitely that. And so another way I fell in with the board is that they reminded me of the Cosby Show. My art is not painting and sculpture, and that's not the art that I come from. So I'm learning this as I move forward. I told you I have the science background, I have the business background, but the art piece is different. So this was something that they had going on, and what I'm learning about the art, painting art, and the expression of art is a lot over this tenure since I started this job.
Sure.
And so ESAN's watching it go from an idea to him doing some of his first paintings to almost completing the project is amazing. And I walked in his house to see to check on him. Hey, ESAN, how are things going, right? Brought me over. Yeah, Andre, come in. This is what I have. And literally, I walked a couple of steps past her and stopped. When I saw this picture of this young man, I literally stopped. I'm thinking to myself, wow, this came out of your mind and you were able to do that.
It's captivating.
It's so captivating.
Well, so much moves us when we see our past, our present, and our future on canvas. And that's really what art does. Black art in particular gives us an opportunity to capture our experiences, but also to share and inform new and future generations of who we are as a people. And I know that ESAN is going to do just that with the exhibit that's taking place. NIA Center has hosted some other artists as well, music artists, as well as some other artwork that's been present. What moves you most about this position? Being able to curate all of that stuff. What moves you most about that?
I would say just serving our community and putting our community in the best light possible. Working with our youth. I want to connect the youth to the elders. Sometimes there's a divide from the wisdom of life, right? And the energy of youth. So if
you call it generational gaps,
I want to definitely connect that so that the young people with energy, they don't have to make the same mistakes that we made, right? So they can navigate life in a better way and put themselves in a better position so the Black excellence shows sooner for them, right, than it did for me. I'm not going to talk about you. Then it did for me.
No,
right?
I get it. No, I absolutely recognize that, being now older, more mature is probably the best word I can think of. I have a greater appreciation for things like the arts and things like using the tools and the instruments of our culture. Culture is not just ethnicity. It's not just the color of our skin, but it's our community, our values. It's the way we do things. It's family. It's food. It's fellowship. It's all those things rolled in together. And I think the NIA Center is a great spot for that excellence to be shown. So I share in your passion of wanting to be, in fact, we're part of the founding members of NIA. So
you are appreciated. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
How can people get involved with NIA? Let's talk about that while somebody might be listening. How can they get involved?
You can go to our website, NIA Centre, CENTREGR.org, and just take a look. We have, if you want to become a member, you can definitely become a member to help promote this African American Cultural Center right here in Grand Rapids. And we'll have volunteer opportunities. I could use as many volunteers to help me with these events as possible. So that's something that you can do. But take a look at it and pass it along, because a lot of people, they may have heard about it, but my job is to make sure people know about it, right? What we do. And like I said, we have 3 focus areas. So we're going to be doing, we have some upcoming programming that we'll be working with entrepreneurs to give them some benefits of intellectual property. I'm not just going to put this in my back pocket.
Right, you're going to share on how to access those things. We're only about halfway through our conversation, so we got a good 15 minutes or so to talk about this, and I'm excited. You can tell in the pitch of my voice that heritage meets excellence, and I think that's really what the NIA Center gives us an opportunity to seize and to show our children and their children and their children. Let's kind of go back to. You've had a very diverse career journey so far, from science to law to, business, and now you're working in the nonprofit space. Go back to when this registered for you. At what point were you in your childhood years of growing up in Detroit, or was it later? When did this start?
My mother is a social worker.
Okay. Currently?
Well, she was a social worker for a lot of her life, and then she became a librarian.
Wow.
My father...
So this career shift thing runs in the family.
Right. I kind of watched her and knew that it wasn't too late for me to make a change. Right?
Sure.
My father was a psychologist.
Okay.
So my parents served. Right, so I watched them serve. My father was a psychologist in the Wayne County Jail, so he served almost every person that came through there. He had a conversation with them to evaluate their mental health, and tried to help them. And that's my hero. So I watched him when we would go around the city, talk to people that most people wouldn't talk to, but they all knew him because he had tried to help them when they were at their lowest point, right? So I think it's just a part of how I was raised. I didn't know it, most of my life, but I'm the oldest boy of 10 children.
10 children.
I have 5 sisters and 4 brothers.
How 2 parents, as busy as they are, have time to birth and raise 10 children. Awesome.
Yep. And
so you're the oldest?
I'm the oldest boy. I have an older sister who can actually say that she was the champion at one point, but I took the belt.
You took the belt? So there's no rivalry here. No competition of rivalry at all.
Not at this point.
With 10 siblings, man. Come on now. You got 9 others.
Well, like I said,
Look like you, talk like you, live like you.
I have 4 younger brothers, but I'm still the champ.
All right.
Right. They tried to take the belt.
I hear you. So athleticism is obviously a part of you all's legacy as well.
I'm a former track runner, and involved in martial arts in my later years. My brothers, my 3 youngest brothers, all played football on the college level.
Okay.
And they really, once they started to eat those weight, they tried to take the belt.
Really?
Yeah.
But you still got it.
I mean,
What'd you do to get your sister out of that spot?
My sister was a beast. I mean, she was really I loved her. And the interesting thing is my mother always told me about fighting women. She did not want to raise a boy that fought women. Right. That's why she had the belt for so long, because she told me, you can't fight her. I'm like, but she's annihilating me. Right? So I in the kindest way, in the most gentle way, I captured the title.
Absolutely.
So
and you're holding on to it.
So I can, yes.
Somebody's coming for you. You know it. If you got 8 other siblings besides your older sister, they're coming for you.
Yeah, I got one of my younger sisters is won the Golden Gloves in boxing. I mean, she's an excellent boxer.
Man, I would love to meet your family. Maybe the NIA Center can just host the Dandridge family, and bring the Dandridges to Grand Rapids and share the interesting insights and stories. Now, there are some Dandridges here. Are you guys related?
Yes. I do have family in Grand Rapids that I met as a teenager. Yeah. But unfortunately, my father has passed away. My aunt's passed away. Okay. So those older members of my family that were connected,
kind of lost the connection.
They're lost. But yeah, I got family here, and I'm down to come by and have a plate.
Absolutely. Sure. Just show you how they cook on this part over here on this side of the state.
That's right.
Well, you landed in Grand Rapids after your career of education and participating in some sports and things like that. You're fulfilling a passion. What would you like to say to our senior community, who's your breath of fresh air for, and then also our youngsters who might be coming up trying to pursue ideas and goals? So both of those audiences, our seniors and then also our young folks, because you obviously bridge a gap.
I would say that I am here to listen to the wisdom that you have and want to pass down to the youth. I was raised with certain morals and ethics, and I will help you in any way that I can. I want to connect you with our youth because I know that your experience in life and experience in career and experience in all the wonderful things that you have, as somebody who's 51 years old, I know that you still have a lot to offer. And what I want to do is give you access to our youth. And so that's what I would like to say to our senior population. And I'm here to help you. If you need assistance, if it falls in our wheelhouse, and even if it doesn't fall in our wheelhouse, I'm meeting a lot of wonderful people doing excellent things here in Grand Rapids. I can point you in the right direction, and I will help you.
Yeah, well, you're giving coach vibes. Right. So I'm sure the young people want to hear from you too. What would you say to them?
So I founded a nonprofit for teen and young fathers.
Okay.
I was a young father. So I'm really passionate about young men. And I have 2 daughters. So I'm also passionate about young women.
Absolutely.
So what I would say to the young people is that, with your energy, and especially in this cell phone age, in this digital age, that, I can help you, and we can help you, not just me, because the NIA Center is a we. We can help you make your dreams a reality. I was fortunate enough to dream some things and to make those dreams a reality. So I know how that feels. I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I came up from the mud, right? We, with love, though, my family has a family of love, but with no wealth. So I had
that is wealth.
Yeah.
May not have the riches, but that's wealth.
Right. But we live in a capitalistic society.
Absolutely.
Right? And that makes a difference in this world if you're able to have a certain career and a certain income. So I want to connect you with the people that can make sure that you get that.
Yeah.
And I want to help you with life skills that will help you navigate this thing called life, so you don't have to run into the issues, especially my young brothers. I know it's not easy being a young black man. I used to catch the bus from the east side of Detroit to the west side of Detroit in the 80s, right? During the crack era, in the middle of some madness. So I know it's not easy, but from that experience, we can help you. And not just NIA Center, our community partners. I'm meeting a lot of people in this community that are doing a lot of things. Yeah. And together, the people that I'm meeting, Pastor, they want to help.
Sure, sure.
Right?
Sure.
And
well, it's definitely time.
Yeah.
We've lived through a couple of eras just in these last, let's say, 10 years.
Yes, sir.
Pre-COVID, COVID, of course, George Floyd, Black Lives Matter. I mean, the list goes on of the pandemics that we have faced, and I use that term pejoratively. But it's not new. It's not new. If we can roll all the way back to the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, then the times in which you were matriculating through society and through life, but you landed. And you've landed on your feet. You've landed with a passion to make a difference. And I think that's notable. That's definitely something that should be celebrated, something that should be commended. And I appreciate what you're doing and what the NIA Center is doing to draw out that excellence. Because there was some silence there for a little while in the time era. I've only been in Grand Rapids 21 years. And there are some times when I'm thinking, where are the voices of excellence? And now I'm beginning to see that again. What would you like to say to your fellow Grand Rapidians now that you guys have moved here and you're part of the community in the fiber?
There are a lot of great resources here to help you get whatever you want to get. If you want to be in business, we have GRAB, we have the Small Business Development Center, we have a lot of Spring GR, a lot of
great
organizations that will help you, right? And we're going to be working with those organizations to help small business owners become business owners and to grow. And we also have access to capital. We have a lot of CDFIs here in Grand Rapids as well.
More than we've ever had.
Which is necessary because of the way that capital is, the way that people are allowed to get capital. And if you don't have great credit, that eliminates almost 95% of the people that are able to get loans.
Yeah.
And I heard something the other day, a resource that came here from Detroit, but they tapped into the community movers and shakers here to help business owners as well with access to capital. It's a big part of growing your business or even scaling your business to be able to have access to capital. So we're going to work with business owners that way as well. So and we want to focus on health. Our community has some health issues that we need to focus on and improve ourselves. A lot of it has to do with what we eat, right? I definitely, my mother made sure I knew how to cook before I left the house. And I think that, I think a lot of times, yes, if you have money, it's okay to eat out every so often.
Sure.
And I support restaurants. I'm not anti-restaurant at all.
Right,
but you have to know how to cook so you can eat nutritious food. And
choices.
Even when you go to restaurants, to make healthy choices when you're there.
Yeah.
So we're going to focus on those types of things at NIA Center. And we have a lot more things coming up because I call them the Justice League.
Okay.
My board is our superheroes, and they're going to push me and bring out the best in me and help guide me here in Grand Rapids to serve.
Yeah, I know your board members well, and they are all great people, made some major contributions to the city, to the culture, for the culture, as they would say, and cross-generational. It's not just one of those situations where you got some older folks wanting to try to leave a legacy, but they're moving, shaking, and doing right now in this community. The NIA Center is a dynamic space. Give the contact information again. How can people reach out and become a part of NIA Center?
You can go to NIA Centre, CENTREGR.org, or you can give me an email, Andre@NIACenterGR.org, or you can give me a telephone call, 616-500-3910, because we're here to serve. And I want to connect with some youth leaders, right? I said that painting wasn't my art. When I was a college student and even beyond, hip hop was my art.
Okay.
So I want to connect with the hip hop community so that I can connect with the leaders of our young people so I can do whatever I can to facilitate and help them.
Yeah.
Right. So
interesting thing about hip hop is that it's 50 years old now, right?
Think about that.
So that means that we've crossed some generations, and
yes,
there's
sir.
definitely some longevity to not just a genre of music, but to a culture of life that's here.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a hip hop church here. There's lots of people connected to that. Now, the event that's taking place, the My Story 5, it's not going to take place at the NIA Center. It's going to be held at Muse. You mentioned some connectors, and I know Stephen Smith and his wife over at the Muse at Muse GR. tell us a little bit about that location and where it's going to be, what time, and the date of that event.
So the My Story 5 exhibition starts October the 24th, and it will be from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. from the 24th through the 27th, and on the 28th, it'll be from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Muse is located on 727 Leonard, and that's where it's going to be. And you can find those details as well on our events link on our page. But yeah, it's going to be a wonderful event. It's going to be you need to see what ESAN has to offer the world. And hopefully we'll get as many schools, as many fraternities, as many sororities, as many churches to have tours that come through to see this exhibition. That is our goal.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andre Dandridge, for being here and for just sharing this link, this connection. Welcome to Grand Rapids.
Thank you, sir.
And definitely looking forward to more things coming out of the NIA Center. You've been listening to Community Voices on 91.9 FM, The People's Choice. I'm Terence Lauchie. We've had Andre Dandridge, the Executive Director of the NIA Center, with us, and we want you to go to the website and just check out more information. There'll be a link on 91.9's page as well, just connecting you to all of this great information that's happening here and around the greater Grand Rapids area. Again, I'm Terence Lauchie, and you've been tuned in to Community Voices on 91.9 FM, The People's Choice.
You've been listening to Community Voices with your host, Terence Lauchie. Community Voices can be heard every Friday at 12 noon. This radio roundtable features community, business, and religious leaders that discuss current events and topics that impact our urban community. If you would like to be a guest, or if you have a suggested topic, contact the station today at 616-259-7342. Until next week, let your voice be heard in the community.